Welcome back, Patriots, for another episode of the Bald Brad Show, where we cover all the major news that you need to know about. It is officially October 21st, and Donald Trump is still, by far, not even close, the best president in American history, and he's getting a lot of stuff done. We have here Donald Trump doing a White House roundup, baby, where the weekend protesters may have cleared out, but it's shaping up to be another wild week in Washington. Did you know Donald Trump's approval rating actually went up after the No Kings protest? They haven't learned yet. If they probably went in their basements, just like Joe Biden did, then quite possibly his approval rating would go down. But what we have found is the complete opposite. So he had a major presidential focus on foreign policy. You have Ukraine going on, where President Trump met with President Vladimir Zelensky in the White House on a Friday. While it wasn't their most contentious meeting, Trump seems less bullish on Ukraine since his recent conversation with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Trump suggested that he's not ready yet to provide Ukraine with Tomahawk missiles they've requested. Now, I've heard through news reports that there was a shouting match between the two, and Donald Trump was cussing at Zelensky. And he said basically that Russia would destroy you. Now, there was a lot of explicitives in that. I'm trying to keep it nice and PG-13, but that's what was being reported. And it's not unlike Trump to throw around a little cuss words, if you know what I'm saying. On a more positive note, Trump had a meeting with the Australian Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, on Monday. The two leaders signed a critical minerals and rare earths deal. Under the agreement, the United States and Australian governments will invest more than $3 billion in critical mineral projects over the next 6 months, with recoverable resources, with the projects estimated to be worth $53 billion. Now, you have the deal also including a lot of burden sharing and making new defense investments that will strengthen the alliance between the United States and Australia. There was a funny moment yesterday, though. Freaking Trump. I don't know if Trump was screwing around with the guy or not, but there was this clip of Trump being asked by a reporter regarding Australia, and the Australian Prime Minister. Oh, it's not up here. Hold on. And he goes, he's like talking about him. He's like, where is he? And he's sitting right in front of him. Hold on. Oh, come on. Don't do this to me. I want to see if I had it. Reporter question. I got to see if I can find this dude. It was hilarious. It was really, really hilarious. Oh, I don't think I'm going to be able to find it. I have the clip where he's sitting right next to him, but I guess we'll watch that one, and I'll see if I can find that one reporter question. Absolutely hilarious. So here's the two right now with Trump in agreement.
For a period of 4 or 5 months, and it was sort of good timing that we got it done just in time for the visit. And we worked together very much on rare earths, critical minerals, and lots of other things. And we've had a very good relationship. We've been working on that for quite a while. In about a year from now, we'll have so much critical mineral and rare earths that you won't know what to do with them. They'll be worth about $2. But in the meantime, we're working with Australia and other countries. They're working with us too, but other countries also on that. But we're really working on anything having to do with military protection, military ships, vehicles, guns, ammunition, everything, the whole thing. We've been long-time allies, and I would say there's never been anybody better. We fought wars together. We never military protection, military. It's a great honor to have you as my friend. It's a great honor to have you in the United States of America. Please, would you like to say something?
Well, thank you so much, Mr. President, for the invitation here to the White House and for showing us around the improved Oval Office, and for what you're doing around here as well, and for the great honour as well of my delegation saying just across the road we could have walked, but they didn't let us. We drove all of 20 metres there from Blair House. but it's a great honour to be able to stay there. We are great friends and we're great allies. And this is a relationship that's been forged in the battlefields of the world. We have stood side by side for freedom and democracy. And congratulations, I must say, Mr. President, on the work that you've done with the Middle East. It's an extraordinary achievement. And on defence, we've already had a discussion.
All right, so you had that. Okay. Before this took place, I found the clip for you. I'm scrambling over here. I'm the only guy doing this. I have it right here. So check this out. I'm sorry. I shouldn't even be laughing. Some of you are like, I don't even know why he's laughing yet. Okay. A reporter's going to ask him a question and just watch what happens.
Concern in Australia that it's taken 9 months to get this meeting. Have you had any concerns with this administration, with its stance on Palestine, climate change, or even things the ambassador said about you in the past, the Australian ambassador?
I don't know anything about him. I mean, if he said bad, then maybe he'll like to apologize. I really don't know. Did an ambassador say something bad about him? Don't tell me. I don't. Where is he? Is he still working for you?
Yeah.
Okay, it was the ambassador. I thought it was this guy. Homie's sitting right across from him. Trump's like, who is he? I've never seen this guy. I've never heard of him. Is he here? He's fucking sitting right here.
You said bad?
Before I took this position, Mr. President,
I don't like you either. I don't, and I probably never will. Go ahead.
Damn, dude. So I thought, now I saw this on my phone, to be fair, okay? So I thought this guy and this guy were the same person. I guess not. So I pulled a Trump myself. I pulled a Joe Biden. Is that what Joey feels like? It's not a good feeling to feel stupid all the time. Let me tell you, it's not. But, you know, Joey did it every day and he survived, didn't he? Well, on the home front, the president recently decided to weigh in on upcoming elections. Trump made a late breaking endorsement of Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears for Virginia governor. The endorsement of Earl Sears comes when the race is tightening because of scandal lower down on the ballot. Of a scandal lower down on the ballot with the Democratic candidate. Interesting. Oh, Jay Jones. That's what's going on. Yeah. Jay Jones is calling for the deletion of conservatives. But we're used to stuff like that, right? We're used to conservatives being attacked now, being thrown stuff at, name calling, all that stuff. But remember, we're the ones that have to change. I know I repeat this quite often, but all of you in the chat are the ones that have to change what you say, how you live your lives, and what you do, even though you don't call anybody names, really. You don't do anything wrong. You don't do vandalism and all that stuff. You're not violent, but you have to change your rhetoric because you are the problem. The shutdown shows no signs of ending. They did another vote late yesterday, and I got a little bit of that for you. What is this, the 11th one now? The 11th one is nothing happened still. So we have it right here for breaking from Eric Doherty. For the 11th time, Senate Democrats have blocked reopening the federal government. The clean Republican spending bill has failed yet again.
No.
It's crazy. Chuck Schumer is going to regret it. He already lost $20 billion in New York, and President Trump said Democrat programs are being canceled permanently. Until they cave, the political pain will only get worse. Yeah, it ain't good. And I got a few more things here on that as well. That's for the judge. That's that. We'll get to that later. You kind of seeing a little bit of my show prep. Stop looking. Protesters. I thought I had something on the. Oh, I don't. Okay, we're going back. Trump's war on narco-terrorists. The Trump administration is massively escalating its counter-narcotics campaign in the Caribbean against the suspected drug traffickers. The Trump administration saw the destruction that occurred to the United States under the Biden presidency when it came to opening up our borders. Now, according to Trump, that pulled countries like Venezuela to send in prisoners, gangbangers, and narco-terrorists and traffickers. And the president says he wants that to end for good. The Trump is pressuring Maduro regime by carrying out dramatic kinetic strikes on suspected drug boats, which we keep seeing video of. Now, not just drug boats. Did you guys see the one where he destroyed the submarine, the drug submarine the other day? That was pretty crazy. They waited for it to come to the surface, and they blew that one up, which, like I mentioned for years, that's what I want to see, baby. In Caribbean, and sending the message that there is a new sheriff in town. And I've mentioned this time and time again as well. I want Trump to walk around the White House with a sheriff badge. The funny thing is, it would kind of remind you of Dewey from the Scream movies or Scary Movie. Oh God, what was his name? Hold on. You guys will know what I'm talking about in a moment. This is more Dark MAGA than anything. I apologize. I don't have it. But you guys know what I'm talking about. Or Dewey's like the sheriff. Former DEA told the Daily Wire that the pressure is so extreme that he doesn't see Maduro staying in power much longer. There's an internal pressure that's boiling between Nicolas Maduro and between the Estado Alliance, who is basically the head of the military and also in the Senate. And he has a lot of power with the military, whereas Maduro is the figurehead. He's the president. Those two are battling it out right now in the country. Interesting. Something I did not know. Thanks, Pat, for the 5 gifted memberships. Appreciate you. Thank you. So C-Dog got a membership. Stephanie B got a membership. MAGA for Life. Bruce Rice. Bruce is a big contributor of the show. Thank you. Bruce got a nice little membership. And then Fila Media got a membership as well over on Rumble. Shout out to you, Pat. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. That's always nice to. It's funny because Pat's also a moderator. I mean, the guy does it all. Well, he really does. He does it all. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. By the way, shout out to everybody over there at Rumble. We got a lot of people watching it. It's always interesting how Tuesdays kind of spike. Tuesdays through Thursdays, Mondays and Fridays are low, but hey, I ain't complaining. I appreciate all of you in here. We will be having Dark MAGA later today, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Open up to everybody, by the way. So you do not need to have Rumble Premium or anything like that. You don't need to be a channel membership, nothing. You need to just show up is all you need to do at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where we get a little bit rowdy, a little bit wild and freaky deaky weird. And that's what it's for. You know, shout your opinion. All right, let's get into some other news here. We got some clips. Let's get to the clips because enough of me talking. I don't want to be talking that much. We have some CNN stuff. We got some MSNDNC. We got all sorts of it. All right, so this first one is CNN and MSNDNC are triggered over the judge's ruling that allows Trump to deploy the National Guard to Portland. Epic meltdowns. This is a big deal. Yeah, we know. All right, here we go. All right.
Well, Brianna, this hearing has reached nearly 4.5 hours now, or 4 hours, I should say. And I think what is notable here is, I'll just kind of set the tone for you. I mean, the feeling inside the courtroom it really feels more like a deposition, like a fact-finding mission from the judge, rather than the judge admonishing these federal agents for not complying with her temporary restraining order. All of the questions are being asked by the judge here, so there's not like the opportunity for cross-examination by the plaintiff's attorneys or the defense counsel, which is obviously represented by the Department of Justice. This is entirely led by the judge here. She brought out first the representative from U.S. Customs and Border Protection. This man is Kyle Harvick. He is a high-ranking official for Operation Midway Blitz. He's normally stationed at the El Centro location. He is here in Chicago to oversee Operation Midway Blitz, which is this ramped-up ICE immigration enforcement operation, or I should say this immigration enforcement operation. We did hear from ICE later, and I'll get to that in a moment. The questions that the judge was asking really centered on a few things. And the first is, what is the training that those agents get in terms of use of force and crowd control? And what Harvick stressed was that agents do get that training when they go through the academy, and then their specialized units get more training as they take on those specialized roles. So, for example, Special Operations Detachment, which is a specific subset within Customs and Border Protection, BORTAC, which is their highly skilled, highly specialized, basically their version of SWAT. So he went through in quite a bit of detail what kind of training they get and how often they get that training. And then the other element that the judge really focused in on for that witness was the body-worn camera. What is the policy? How often are agents wearing them? How often are they recording? And it is not clear that every single agent within Customs and Border Protection has a body-worn camera, although he said that the agents who are working on this operation, about 200 of them, do have body-worn cameras. They know how to use them. They understand the requirements as laid out in this temporary restraining order. So that was a really key element here, because much of this evidence that she's concerned about, that she's reading about in the news as potentially violating her temporary restraining order, that would presumably have been captured by those body-worn cameras. So that was, again, really the key line of questioning for that witness. And then when I left court minutes ago, the ongoing witness testimony was from a representative from ICE, and he was talking about the ICE posture at Broadview, which is where we've seen many of these clashes between protesters and ICE agents. And he was talking through some of the incidents. He was explaining how the temporary restraining order is being communicated to agents. And CPB said that as well, that this temporary restraining order is being sent out to agents electronically. And further, as we left, a really key questioning surrounded how long they're retaining.
It is a big deal, and I want to just correct one thing and then explain why functionally it is the same. This is a stay of Judge Immergut's opinion, and that's why it reached the Ninth Circuit as soon as it did, because this is an emergency motion to essentially pause her order. But as a functional matter, you are absolutely correct. It has the function of overturning her order and thereby allowing the president to send the National Guard back onto the streets of Portland. And Katie, I want to read, if I can, just from a little bit of the beginning of this 93-page opinion. It says, after considering the record, and by the record they mean all the factual evidence at this preliminary stage, we conclude that it is likely that the president lawfully exercised his statutory authority under...
Just want to... Patriots, come here real quick. Now, I don't need you to turn up the volume at all. Just we need to huddle up here because I'm going to play it for you again because we were told he's a king. He's breaking the law. He's authoritarian, right? He's destroyed the Constitution.
We conclude that the record, they mean all the factual evidence at this preliminary stage. We conclude that it is likely that the president lawfully exercised his statutory authority under 10 U.S.C. Section 12406. That's the statute we've been referring to as Title 10 when we have conversations about the National Guard deployments, which authorizes the federalization of the National Guard when the president is unable with the regular forces to execute the laws of the United States. And this is the important part. The evidence the president relied on reflects, quote, a colorable assessment of the facts and law within a range of honest judgment. We thus conclude that defendants are likely to succeed on the merits of their appeal, basically saying that when and if a court considers all of the record in this matter is tried and it gets back to an appellate court through an ordinary process where they have full briefing and full evidence, that they still think Donald Trump is likely to prevail there because he has the discretion to determine as the president within a range of honest judgment when it is reasonable to deploy the guard.
This is what you and I were talking about last week. When you get into the slippery slope of discretion.
Yep.
They just don't like it. You can tell, too. You can tell they're probably in the kitchen of CNN throwing stuff around. I love it. It's absolutely incredible. It really is. But don't worry, they're going to go out and do some No Kings protests. And it's not just me and all of you that have opinions on this, but so does Scott Jennings here.
While most of America spent time with family or watched college football this weekend, the No Kings rallies took place in several places in the United States. Liberals gathered to protest
Remember, they're out there protesting because Donald Trump is sending in the National Guard to Portland, as you just saw in Chicago and D.C. and all these leftist-dominated areas. Now he's going to go into San Francisco. He's an authoritarian. He's a king. He's a freaking monarch.
non-existent monarchy in a country that, well, if it did have a king, certainly would not permit massive protest rallies. A lot of unhinged folks who harbor hate and dark thoughts in their hearts were on hand. Listen to this crazy lady in Maine. She had a specific birthday present in mind for herself.
So this is your birthday, so you came out on your birthday, you thought it was important. Tell me why.
Absolutely, because I have two little boys who deserve a bright future of freedom and democracy, and this is a nightmare that I'm living in, and I'm here to make a difference and to be loud and proud, and there's no other way I'd want to celebrate my birthday than with my parents and my best friend fighting for our country.
So for a birthday present, what do you hope happens? You know, you wake up tomorrow morning.
I hope that I see the obituary that we're all waiting for tomorrow. That's what I hope for.
Yeah. You wishing that President Trump is dead?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, these sorts of people popped up at these No Kings rallies all over the country, issuing thinly veiled desires for violence against Republicans, against the president. Here's another one, even worse.
Who are you going to kill?
Nazis.
Who do you define as a Nazi?
What do you mean? It's pretty.
In this context, who's a Nazi?
Stephen Miller's a Nazi.
So you're going to kill Stephen Miller?
If I had a chance, yeah, I would.
I don't know if that's something I'd say on camera, bro.
Right below the surface, folks. Right?
Just so you know, that's his audio, not mine, that keeps going up and down, up and down.
Below the surface, the desire to commit violence against political enemies, to wish for their deaths. It is infecting the liberal grassroots at far higher rates than the media wants you to believe.
These people are violent,
as we
man.
have seen in Virginia, it has infected their candidates for high office. As you know, their attorney general candidate, the Democrats, has expressed a desire for his Republican political opponents to be shot in the head and to see their children die in the arms of their mother. You ought to remember that when you hear someone tell you that both sides needs to turn down the temperature. This is the Scott Jennings Show. You're listening to it on the...
I really do mean this. I actually don't know a single Republican or conservative. Now, it's anecdote, but I don't know anybody that's called... In my life, by the way, I've never met a Republican or conservative that ever asked for the deletion of a political opponent or somebody in politics. I've actually never heard of it until now what we're dealing with. It's the wildest thing to me. And now they're going around calling you guys Nazis. They're doing all these things. I mean, that the Nazi one's not nothing new. We're used to that one. But here is Robert De Niro claiming Stephen Miller is a Nazi.
We see it all the time. He will not want to leave. He set it up with his, I guess he's the Goebbels of the cabinet, Stephen Miller. He's a Nazi. Yes, he is, and he's Jewish, and he should be ashamed of himself.
What?
Yes, he is, and he's Jewish, and he should be ashamed of himself. He's a Nazi. Yes, he is, and he's Jewish. And
no joke. He contradicted himself. I was trying to look at the time. I think in 3 seconds, the guy contradicted himself. He said one thing, and then he said another. Look at it.
He's a Nazi. Yes, he is, and he's Jewish, and he should be ashamed of himself.
He's a Nazi, and he's Jewish, and he should be ashamed of himself. It's like, you're an idiot. Sorry, my bad. It wasn't 3 seconds. It was 3.5. Forgive me. Oh my God. We got to go to the comments. Sometimes you just got to go see what people are saying. De Niro's brain left the building years ago. What a clown he is. Also knows what he's doing. He wants it to happen. In fact, that is correct. The reason he can't get away with outright, the reason why he can get away with outright lies like this is because the media won't push back on his claims. Correct. Well, MSNBC loves this stuff. They love the rhetoric, all the while telling you guys to tone down the rhetoric, not themselves and the people that are calling others Nazis. Anytime you call someone a Nazi, you're implicitly putting a target on their back. It's called stochastic terrorism. The Democrats know exactly what they're doing. So here's a bunch of other stuff taking place, man. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Oh, this is hilarious. There you go. Trump spanking him. Daddy said you said something wrong. Did I hear Nazi come out of your mouth? What did I say about that, De Niro? Oh boy, a lot of good stuff. Oh, don't stop there. We have more. With this type of rhetoric, you get people coming out wanting to take out the president of the United States. And as we mentioned, you have them finding that perch, that hunting base out there by Donald Trump's Palm Beach Air Force One tarmac. And we have Dan Bongino actually giving us some updates on, I think it's Fox News Friends, Fox and Friends. Let's go ahead and see what he has to say here.
This disturbing thing, a hunting stand right in the area of Palm Beach Airport, which would have had a clear shot at Air Force One, We can see it. What could you tell us about this, Dan?
Yeah, I was on the phone about this all day yesterday. It's interesting. When I got back from the mall, most of my you don't get the days off here. It's something you sign up for. So it's unfortunate sometimes we got to take care of these things. We wish they wouldn't happen. But here's what happens with this. Let me walk the American public through how this works. The FBI is not responsible, obviously, for the security plan of the president. That's the purview of the Secret Service. However, if the Secret Service finds something that they believe could be criminal, I want to emphasize it could be, we take over. We have what's called an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding with the Secret Service, where we will investigate after that. I was on the phone yesterday, back and forth with the D2, the Deputy Director over at the Secret Service, Matt Quinn, great guy. They were very concerned. Their security sweep discovered this hunting stand. The director Kash Patel was directly involved right away. I'm on the email chain with him. He ordered an immediate response. I believe we had our plane flown down there. This hunting stand was appropriately dismantled, being flown to our lab. I believe it's there right now. And all of the forensic tools we have, from digital tools to biometric tools, they are all going to be applied to try to find out who put this up there and why.
Mr. Deputy Director, big picture here. The snipers have become a problem. The first assassination attempt against the president, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, the attempted assassination of our ICE officers. That's the new tool now. They're attacking from the top.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a new tool. It's an old tool that may be used more often by folks who realize that there's some tactical advantage to distance and cover. The Secret Service has had to make a lot of modifications, Lawrence, given that this tool was obviously used or attempted to be used multiple times. They've expanded their security perimeter, how they do. I'm very close friends with the director over there and the deputy director, and some of those modifications have been made. And I think you saw the modifications with the discovery of this hunting stand set up in the tree outside of West Palm Beach. But yeah, there's no room. This is a zero-fail mission, Lawrence. No time for a BS here. It's zero fail. You can't have a mistake here. It's just not. I haven't been a Secret Service agent and now an FBI agent and with the NYPD. I can tell you, this is one of those missions where there's no do-overs.
I'm glad they found it.
So shout out to Dan Bongino for trying to keep the president of the United States safe. That's obviously priority numero uno. And it's tough when you have the rhetoric coming out. It's tough when you have people going to the streets, which actually wearing 8647. And before, when you'd go up and ask somebody about their shirt, they're like, oh, it's just kind of a pun. They wouldn't actually admit it. Well, I'm seeing video clips yesterday of them just openly saying, oh, yeah, it's to delete the president of the United States, which, by the way, you're not allowed to do. You are not allowed to make threats against the president of the United States. So it's rough. So when you have that type of rhetoric, Donald Trump comes out with a meme, kind of like what Karen's talking about over on Rumble. And he posted this video of him flying an aircraft and dropping poop all over protesters. So he posted this, and CNN of course has to cover it because it's Donald Trump posting anything. I mean, this guy could post a period on his social media and they will spend about 3 weeks talking about it, wall-to-wall coverage. What'd the period mean? Did he mean to do that? Is he an idiot? Is he dementia?
That he's making, sure, Michael, that he wishes he could drop.
Look, I think,
on his fellow Americans.
Look, this is what I think. I think a lot of Republicans look at this, and I've texted with a lot of folks about it. They thought it was hilarious. They thought it was funny. Some of my Democratic friends thought it was a little over the top, but even they acknowledged to me, I got to give it to Trump. He is good at sort of goading our side with some of these sort of satirical videos and other memes that he typically will post on social media. It makes him more relatable to the average person. You wouldn't typically see this from a president, but the average person looks at this, Jake, and they sort of laugh or they dislike it. But I don't think it's something to sort of set your hair on fire over.
That he's making.
I mean, why is CNN covering this as if it's a big deal? I suppose anything the president does is a big deal. And quite frankly, I would be fair, the president of the United States shouldn't be posting videos like this, to be honest, because what it does, it actually diminishes, in my opinion, the office of the presidency. But no, man, I still think it's funny. And just listen to Tapper, how serious he is about it. It's stupid.
Sure, Michael, that he wishes he could drop.
Look, I
on his fellow Americans.
Do you think it's a problem that he wishes he could drop human feces on fellow Americans? Like, come on, bro. It's a joke, dude. Tighten up. Lighten up. Stop tightening up. Jeez, Louise, man. It's like, chill out a little bit. You know what I mean? Unbelievable. Well, Bernie Sanders was in the news yesterday, and I want to see if I could find this. And I'm going to get flagged by Disney. I always do. This one's wild. When you start getting a little bit older, your brain just starts to just deteriorate at a rapid pace, because Bernie Sanders joined the host of ABC's midday talk show, The View. Yeah, The View's back again, where the co-hosts pressed him on everything from the ongoing government shutdown to his recent campaign stops with New York City's Democratic mayoral nominee, Zohran Mamdani, a self-described Democratic socialist. Now, we have some clips here for you. We're just going to do it. They're going to flag me. And then if you're rewatching this on the recording, if it's not included, that's because I removed it because I got flagged. We have here Sonny Hostin praising Sanders for campaigning far-left extremist Zohran Mamdani and tease him up to call on Democrats to move further left. So we got this clip for you, and then I'll get into the craziness.
You've been campaigning with the frontrunner in New York City's mayoral race, fellow Democratic socialist Zohran Mamdani. He's leading by double digits. He probably will be the next mayor of New York. Now, a recent Gallup poll showed that over half of Democratic voters prefer socialist-aligned figures like yourself, like AOC, like Mamdani, to more establishment centrist politicians. Is this the direction the Democratic Party needs to go?
Well, I think Mamdani is running an extraordinary campaign.
Yes.
He has, as I understand it, 80,000 people today knocking on doors for him. And that's how you win elections. Yeah. And that's what I believe. That's what I always believe. You don't go to people who have money and do all these stupid 30-second ads. You mobilize people at the grassroots level. And I think in terms of democratic socialism, what people understand is there is something wrong in America today when one man, Mr. Musk, owns more wealth than the bottom 52% of American households. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When we have more income and wealth inequality than we've ever had, when in the richest country in the world we have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major nation.
Says the guy that owns multi-million-dollar properties, a boat, cars. But he talks about, you got to talk about just the one or two guys up there at the top. But he can't put himself in that category, can he? Gotcha, Bernie.
The highest rate of senior poverty of almost any nation. We have a healthcare system which is falling apart. Kids can't afford to go to college.
Why is the healthcare system falling apart, you guys? They have Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act. It's affordable. It's affordable. It was the greatest thing since sliced bread, according to Barack Obama and all the Democrats. You notice that they're complaining about healthcare. So they got the healthcare that they wanted, called Obamacare, and now they're complaining that the healthcare is not good. God, it drives you up a wall.
Housing crisis, and people are saying, you know what? Here's the radical idea. This is what democratic socialism basically means. Let's have a government that works for all the people, not just the billionaire class. Mm-hmm. Let's end a corrupt campaign finance system that allows billionaires in both political parties to determine who wins elections. Let's create the kind of democracy, that Lincoln talked about way back when he said a government of the people, by the people, for the people.
So with that, remember, the whole context was about democratic socialism. So not only was he trying to support Mamdani, but Sanders concluded by suggesting that Lincoln was actually talking about the same goal when he came to the Gettysburg Address. Let's try to create the kind of democracy that Lincoln talked about way back when he said a government of the people, by the people, for the people. Now, the context was talking about democratic socialism. Almost in a way, it seems as if Bernie Sanders is calling Abraham Lincoln a democratic socialist because of what he said by taking that one phrase from Gettysburg. I mean, this is the pretzel stuff that they do, is lumping in Republicans into democratic socialism now. I mean, the switcheroo and the mental gymnastics you have to do to get there is absolutely mind-boggling. Now, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because he never said that Lincoln himself was a democratic socialist. But I really don't understand why they're complaining about healthcare when Obamacare's there in place.
Senator, we're now on day 20 of the government shutdown. And the longer this goes on, it seems to play into the president's hands as he wants to continue firing federal workers, and he is defunding democratic priorities and shrinking the government long term. Now, Majority Leader Thune has offered Democrats a vote to extend Obamacare subsidies if they just agree to end the shutdown. Are you on board with that just to get this over with?
No, because that would not get it over with. I want to see the shutdown ended tomorrow. Got a lot of good, decent, hardworking federal employees not getting their paychecks. That is not right. But I want to explain to everybody really what's at stake, because I don't know that people are...
Oh, here we go. He's going to explain to all of us. Everybody ready for Bernie Sanders' lesson here?
Clear about it.
Come on.
As a result of Trump's big, beautiful bill, which to my mind was one of the worst pieces of legislation passed in modern history.
Okay.
This is what is going to happen.
Tell us.
15 million low-income and working-class Americans are going to lose their health insurance.
Okay.
Studies indicate that when you take away health insurance for so many people, you know what happens? 50,000 people will die unnecessarily every single year. 50,000 of our fellow Americans. And then on top of that, and people are now in Vermont and around the country getting their notices from insurance companies.
Right.
In my state of Vermont, people are getting notices that their premiums, which are now outrageously high, are going to triple, in some cases quadruple, on average nationally double.
So the Affordable Care Act's not affordable. Huh.
Why did Trump and the Republicans do this? In order to pay for a $1 trillion tax break for the 1%.
Oh, there it is. The 1%. He always says the 1%. The wealthy. So clearly Obamacare wasn't set up correctly, because if you have to subsidize it in the tune of that much money, well, then it's not affordable because somebody else is having to pay for it. I know I keep repeating myself, but it's true. And nobody's talking about it that way, by the way. I watch a lot of people's podcasts throughout the day. I do my research. Why is nobody bringing up the fact that all these Democrats are saying that you need to subsidize Obamacare? The healthcare sucks that we have now. But you are the ones that tried to sell the American people on that. Not only was Obamacare going to be the best care that you can get, but it's going to be cheap and affordable. But now the healthcare sucks and it's not affordable. So you lied to us again? Is that what's happening here? Really? Interesting. Really interesting. Well, the other thing that's interesting here is Caroline Leavitt's fiery text to HuffPost reporter. Oh, baby. Here we go. She's smacking it down. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt gave a 3-word response to Huffington Post reporter looking for a comment about who had suggested the location for a specific meeting. Your mom did. The reporter in question, SV Date, I don't know what do you mean by that, had asked about a meeting that was planned in Budapest, Hungary, between President Donald Trump and the Russian President Vladimir Putin. The concern, according to this reporter, was that Russia had previously promised not to invade Ukraine in that very city in 1994, but the reporter published Leavitt's response. In response to Huffington Post's query about who suggested Budapest, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt responded, "Your mom did," and White House Communications Director Stephen Chugg replied, "Your mom." Oh, I'm not mad about it, surprisingly. Now, is that something that should have been responded with? No, but you would imagine that there is definitely some animosity with Huffington Post and the White House for them to respond something like that. But the "your mom" stuff never gets old. It really doesn't, especially for all the older folks in here. I mean, that was the staple of a comeback back in the day. Leavitt offered clarification on short time later, sharing screenshots of the full text exchange. The way the question was framed, it was clear that the intention was to lay a trap for the Trump administration. Either the person who chose the location would be framed as ignorant of the historical context, or they would be accused of selecting that location as an intentional slight to Ukraine. And this is what you would call a response bias, is that it puts you into a trap and it's going to elicit a very specific type of question, or rather answer. And the answer is then going to be floated out, and it can actually do you harm. So that's what's messed up about this is, and I know you all know this, is that reporting has now moved into doing the bidding of the Democrat Party or this left-wing establishment, and pigeonholing an administration or the mouthpiece of the leader of the free world to give a response is actually damaging. And it could hurt relationships with Russia and the United States, whether you think there's one or not. When you're trying to do negotiations right now by saving thousands of people's lives, or thousands of lives, you don't pull this type of charades. And I never understood this by the media. The media used to have at least some dignity where they would basically know when to report something and when not to report something. Now they just report everything. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's new technology, they'll make sure they show it, or it's the Navy SEALs live of, hey, right now they're going into North Korea. We got infrared coming down from our satellites that was just released by Elon Musk that we hate. It's like, hey, how about you don't show our Navy SEALs storming the beaches of North Korea so that they're nice, safe, and sound? I mean, they post anything and everything. They're a bunch of idiots. They really are. For context, the reporter of the Huffington Post is not a journalist interested in the facts. He's a left-wing hack who has consistently attacked President Trump for years and constantly bombards my phone with Democrat talking points. Just take a look at the feed. It's read like a anti-Trump personal diary. Here's my full response to this inquiry. Should continue adding activists who masquerade as real reporters do a disservice to the profession. And what you'll have is of the left here, they won't read the whole thing. And by the way, I don't even need to read it to know that there had to have been some sort of animosity beforehand for somebody to give that type of response, but the left can never think that far. They can't look at something. It's weird, and I don't know why they're like this. Not Democrats, not independents, not even Republicans. It's just, you really see it from the left. That for some reason, they can't see that, well, what would elicit that type of response from somebody that's in a professional setting to write your mom? They can't think about all the variables that would go into something like that. It just must be that she's stupid. It just must be that she's really unprofessional. It must be that she's the problem, not the very thing that maybe elicited. I'm not saying she's right or wrong for doing it. But what I'm saying is they can't ever think about all the variables that go into it. It's really, really interesting. All righty. Let's get into one really quick thing here. Trump is working officially on the new big, beautiful White House ballroom. And you can see some demos going on here bigly. And it has the Democrats and really mostly the progressive left freaking out. So what they're doing on social media, TikTok, Twitter, all those places, is they are saying, oh, he's doing this during a government shutdown, so this is where our tax dollars are going. They're idiots, man. Donald Trump is paying for this out of his own pocket. They don't know anything. And I don't know why they're not willing to just do a simple ChatGPT. Folks, nowadays, you don't have to do anything. You actually don't even have to type in your phone. You could physically just hit the record button and say, hey, ChatGPT, let's do this. Let's just do it. We're going to do it together. Okay. Let's see if we can do it. Watch, it makes me look stupid. That'd be hilarious. You guys ready for this? We're going to do it together. Hey, I was curious on the new ballroom that President Donald Trump is building. Is there any reports out there that claim that he is, in fact, spending his own money on this big, beautiful ballroom in the White House?
So it looks like the reports say the new White House ballroom is indeed being built, but it's not purely from Trump's own pocket. Apparently, it's getting privately funded by big companies like Apple and Amazon. They say it should be finished by the end of his term in 2029, and it can host nearly 1,000 guests.
So he's partially paying for it himself. I was told by the Democrats that this is being funded by the taxpayer.
Yeah, I can see where the confusion comes in. Basically, it's a mix of funding. From what the reports are saying, there's a combination of private donations and some public funding going into it. So it's not entirely taxpayer.
There you go. There you go. And by the way, I would even look into that and see if it's any taxpayer dollars going to it. Because sometimes what they'll do is for improvements of the White House, you'll have a certain budget item that's already contributed to that. And that could be money going into it, meaning it was already allocated over there, and they'll start freaking out over that as well. So it could be that for improvements, furnishings, things going on in the White House every single year, there's always a budget for something like that. And now that's like, oh, the tax dollars are moving over there. It's crazy. It's crazy. People are knuckleheads. All right, folks. Well, that's today's episode of the Bald Brad Show. We'll be back here later today, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for more news and for more shenanigans today. If you haven't joined Dark MAGA, well, now's your time to experience it, where we go over a lot of different stuff. Sometimes it's long form, sometimes it's short form, but we get a little freaky deaky in the chat. We have a good time and a lot of laughter usually, let me tell you. With that being said, pray for this country, pray for Donald Trump, pray for peace on earth, read the scriptures, folks, spend some time with friends and family. I'll see you till later today here on the Bull Brad Show, 4 p.m. See you there.